Welcome, everybody, and good afternoon. Today, we have something very exciting to talk about: powering the future of transportation with AI. We live in unprecedented times where we have supply chain shortages. Getting access to new vehicles is quite difficult, driving up the price of used vehicles. This is all happening while we're transitioning to electrification and connectivity, which really is going to proliferate the future of AI within transportation. And today we're going to talk about a project that's been worked on over the past 2 years with the company Pitstop, Fleet Complete, and MPL. And this project was focused on deploying AI into fleets of today to help drive as much uptime as possible through predictive maintenance and predictive analytics. Let me quickly introduce you to some of the members on our team. We have Frank. So, Frank, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Frank Friesacker. I'm the Chief Product Officer with Fleet Complete, based in Toronto. We've been helping fleets around the world for 20 years optimize their operations, their maintenance, and their safety. So I'm looking forward to talking more with Shiva today.
Awesome. We have myself. My name is Shiva Bardwaj. I'm the founder and CEO of Pitstop. We are a predictive analytics company in this transportation ecosystem. And then we have Paul. Paul, please introduce yourself and NPL.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Paul Lagerworth. I'm the fleet director with NPL Canada. So I've been in the auto and truck and equipment business almost my whole career, starting at about 18 years old as an apprentice mechanic and getting my license status a few years later and working in various garages until about 2001. From there, I had a pretty successful sales career in heavy trucks with Freightliner International till about 2007. Since then, I've been managing fleets, first with a major highway maintenance contractor and now with NPL Canada, a leading pipeline construction company in Canada. So NPL Canada is now managing roughly about 1,000 assets, everything from trucks to cars to large excavation equipment and specialized pipeline equipment. We've been in the business for about 25 years, and we pride ourselves really on our alliance approach to our business partnerships. So happy to be here today. Thanks, Sheila.
Awesome. Great, Paul. So about 2 years ago, the genesis of this work was between Fleet Complete, a very large telematics company in the space, and Frank's going to talk a little bit more about that, and myself at Pitstop, where we really wanted to take these large data sets that vehicles are already generating on the road and apply predictive analytics to identify things like brake, battery, engine failures ahead of time, and ultimately see how that can actually help a fleet like an MPL, like Paul at MPL, drive more uptime and run a more efficient business. So maybe, Frank, it would be great to introduce and talk about Fleet Complete and where the company's at today, and then we can dive into the actual project that we deployed and the value prop of it.
Thanks, Shiva. So Fleet Complete, we've been around over 20 years now, and we have about 700,000 vehicles that we gather data from every day. And we gather that many parts of the world, primarily in America. And what we provide is insights using this data for fleet managers, for maintenance managers, safety officers, compliance officers, and all the other stakeholders, including the drivers of these trucks, to make their days that much more effective, but also make it more convenient, whether it's hours of service, etc. But I think what we're talking about today is really centered around the work we've done in providing insights into predictive maintenance, which then helps our fleet customers avoid unscheduled downtime, allows them to plan their utilization and windows to be much more effective. And I think we have to keep in mind this data is streaming in 24/7 every day. And it's impossible for humans to keep an eye on all the data coming in through AI, through the algorithms that Pitstop's developed. We can constantly be watching that data, looking at trends, and looking at comparative data from other vehicles in similar applications, and extract meaningful insights, and then use the software, our platform, to notify the right people at the right time so they can do something for becomes more critical or more expensive to their operations. So, it's been 2 years of working together to really harvest this data and develop the insights that Pitstop brings to the table.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, and so with all this data, we're talking about, every few seconds, information like GPS, acceleration, various engine parameters being pushed into the cloud. What we were trying to do at Pitstop was bring forth a focus around analytics. So can we build models that can look for patterns that trend toward, let's say, brake wear or battery failures, and drive an indication early enough in the cycle. And at Pitstop, we've trained our algorithms on over 3 billion data points and growing by about 800% every quarter. For the improvement of reliability and accuracy is growing constantly. And as we move towards 5G and electrification, these trends will only continue, and the accuracy and intelligence behind these types of algorithms will become table stakes, and every vehicle will be expected to come out with this kind of feature set. And that's what's exciting here, because we're laying the groundwork, and we're doing it in a way that creates value for customers today, specifically with fleets. So if we look at the specific deployment of what we've been able to achieve, it's detect when the brake's going to wear on a vehicle ahead of time to get ahead of safety issues, understand when different sensors and systems in the vehicle are going to fail ahead of time, such as looking at turbo issues and turbo leaks, and doing this all through software and data analytics. And then also just prioritizing which vehicles in the fleet of 1,000 need to go in for service now versus later. And I think these are very important value propositions that help customers today benefit from AI. And that also creates the groundwork that will enable us to build future solutions to bring predictive maintenance to the masses. That's really, really what's quite exciting here. And by having Paul and NPL involved in this project, really got a real world input and insight as to what it is that the customers need in the field in order to be successful. So it's not just about saying drop everything you're doing and go change your battery, but rather sending an alert early on in the cycle to the right manager who can organize the vehicle going in for service around the existing schedule they might have for work. And that's really important, planned downtime versus unplanned. So we're going to show you a quick demo of the platform and implementation that we were able to perform, and talk a little bit more about it from there.
Welcome to Pitstop, powerful AI for the future of mobility. Let me introduce you to Paul, a fleet manager at NPL, a large utility contractor that makes sure our homes and offices are always heated. Paul manages a fleet of 1,000 vehicles that are used by employees to get out to a job site, drill into the ground, and carry large equipment around. Making sure these vehicles are up and running efficiently is a key priority to the success of NPL's business. When Paul logs into Pitstop, he gets a real-time view of the vehicles in his fleet with the highest risk of having an issue. All vehicles are automatically prioritized by the Pitstop algorithms, which has learned about what types of issues cause the most downtime from analyzing thousands of vehicles. Paul can also instantly access an aggregated report showing the total downtime his fleet has dealt with. This acts as a guide for him to optimize his spending and doubles as a report to show management that his team is doing a great job. With the click of a button, Paul can deep dive into a specific vehicle and even a route that it has driven on. Data, which includes hundreds of sensors reporting temperature, pressures, and voltages, are running through the Pitstop AI engine, which provides real-time insights. Viewing the prediction algorithms that are running in real time is easy. Paul can see the most recent analysis around battery, brakes, and anomalies for this specific vehicle. This empowers him to make quick decisions about bringing the vehicle in for service or letting the driver continue to drive. By accessing real-time maintenance insights, Paul can save thousands of dollars while making the job easier. Reach out to us at info@pitstopconnect.com if you're interested in applying AI to your fleet.
Awesome. So quickly, we'll hear from Paul some of his thoughts on this project, and I think end it from there. Paul, do you want to just give a quick overview?
Sure, sounds great. Thanks for the opportunity here, Shiva. So, data collection through GPS tracking is giving us real-world real-time information for many years now, and it's given us the ability to constantly analyze our fleet operations, which helps us better understand where to focus our efforts. Focusing on things like reducing idle hours, speeding, harsh events, fuel usage, and so on really helps us to better estimate asset life cycles and maintenance costs. It's also allowed us to see where we can move equipment and vehicles from areas of high use to areas of low use to better balance the fleet and maximize the useful life of the asset. A predictive maintenance solution could take these principles several steps farther, in my view. Predicting when assets need maintenance would be a game changer for fleet managers who are constantly looking for ways to use technology to drive cost savings and increase uptime. We're always watching and right-sizing the fleet in efforts to provide an appropriate amount of assets to work with. Knowing when assets would be down for maintenance and for how long will help fleet managers provide a consistent amount of fleet for the company to work with. With predictive maintenance, we can start to look more accurately at the maintenance required and can begin to plan downtime more accurately. Too often, vehicle and equipment maintenance is performed with the understanding that, well, the unit is down already, so we might as well do it now. I feel these types of maintenance activities can be wasteful. Parts and fluids are replaced simply because the unit is in the shop and we're trying to take advantage of downtime. We spend unnecessarily thinking we're doing the right thing, but we're giving up valuable remaining life in those parts and fluids. Most components have estimated and engineered lives, and we're replacing them before their useful life has been realized, thereby costing extra money. Conversely, it also happens that these components are stretched beyond their service life and increasing the risk of breakdown, further exacerbating the overall issue of downtime. So it would be far better if we could use the data to plan for maintenance, maximizing the service of those maintenance items, and then start grouping maintenance activities together based on mileage, hours, and conditions. We need to understand what service life to expect from brakes and tires, starters, belts, hoses, etc., all by studying data coming from the assets, working in varying situations and conditions. So NPL Canada is no different than any other large fleet these days. We're driven to consider our environmental impact, our safety, and compliance when managing the fleet. Our clients demand it of us. So predictive maintenance would bolster all of these efforts. Increase safety from timely maintenance and repair and maintenance tracking to satisfy any compliance requirements that we might have. Shiv, I really appreciate you having me today. So back over to you to close it off.
Yeah, awesome. So I think that's what we wanted to talk through, is just showcase how AI can be used today in fleets and vehicles on the road, and that this kind of technology will be introduced into all vehicles in the coming years. So thank you all for joining in and listening into the presentation. I appreciate your time.